Hello and welcome back to another amazing night of herping in southern Thailand, featuring frogs, lizards, and a lot of snakes.
Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, ow. All right, we are parked up and ready to go. It's about 7 p.m. and this is actually the first day where we have not had heavy rain, although the moon is getting close to being full, so that may be playing a factor in our findings. Still, I'm confident we can find stuff today, so let's get to it. And if you're using this method of searching, we're definitely going to find stuff. Okay, so first find of the night isn't actually a snake, but it is a rare gecko. This right here is Certodactylus elok, and this is only the second time I've ever seen this species in Thailand. The first time I saw it was the first time that I ever came to Narathiwat province, but I didn't get any photos because I didn't bring my camera into the forest that night. Finally, after all these trips, I got one this time and I'm going to take some photos as it has a full tail in all its glory, which it currently has coiled into this really cool circular motion. You see the tail spiny? Very typical of this foot group. All right, I just grabbed a snake I've never shown on my channel before. This very, bitey. Okay, as you can see, this sharp-toothed little snake is Lycodon ephraenis, the scarce wolf snake, which is one of the rarer wolf snakes in Thailand, although we've seen a few of them this year, particularly at this location. This one I describe as, well, lengthwise, I'd say it's closer to adult, but it still has very, very strong banding akin to a juvenile, so quite an interesting individual. I found one that was a little bit shorter than this last time, and it had already lost the vast majority of its bands. Look at it, it's about to start reversing. Oh, it struck at me. Wolf snakes are so funny. I know regular watchers of my channel will be very familiar with the attitude and feistiness of Lycodon. And although not all of them have sharp teeth, I have to say that this one definitely did. And that small bite hurt quite a bit and drew quite a lot of blood. This species, as you may have seen in the original clip, hold on, let me get it in hand, has an incredible venter. Like, look at that yellow banding on the venter. Really, really cool. All round, one of my favorite Lycodon in the area. Cool little snake. I'm gonna let this one go. Here's a little look at what we're up to, just walking on the edge of this stream, checking the ground and vegetation. It can be really unstable at times, and honestly, I've tripped over countless times on this trip. You can see, if you look at my hands, I can barely close that finger. It may not look like much, but you get a lot of horrible splinters. But it's part and parcel of going to these areas and going to places where there aren't trails, going off the beaten track and finding the rare stuff. Finally, the first HAGEN'S pit viper of the night. Just a nice little orange spotted male chilling here at the bottom of this plant. It's actually disturbed and looking at me now, but before it would have been looking at the ground, waiting for frogs, small mammals, or maybe even a gecko to walk by. I swear, every time that I stop in the forest for a snake and end up looking around, I find something. So I was just taking a couple pictures of the HAGEN'S, you can see over there. And over here is something special. There's a young female Abbott's angle-headed lizard. One of the rarest agamid lizards in southern Thailand, and certainly one of the most incredible with that insane, vibrant neon green. Unfortunately, this one's just the juvenile, but it still has pretty nice sort of large, enlarged eyebrows, those shields on the head, which give it that Gonocephalus angle-headed name. Yeah, great to see one of these. I'm going to grab a photo before we move on. All right, here's finally a chance to show you what an adult of Gonocephalus belli looks like. Quite a stark contrast to the juveniles. You can still see it's the same species, but got that super defined ridge, that crest of horns, and honestly quite big, although this one's a bit out of reach. I just can't reach over there. But yeah, really nice. And here we go, guys. The first actually cool snake of the night. This is Rhabdophis chrysargos. Unfortunately, it is heavily in-shed, about as in-shed as a snake can possibly get. It's the bluest of blue, but a couple facts about this snake. Not common at all in Thailand. This is the first one our team have seen all year long. It would be a lifer for Harry if he were here. David and I have seen a couple back in the day, but this is the first time I've seen one in Thailand for absolutely years and years. I knew they occurred here because a couple friends have seen them in the past, but I was wondering why I hadn't seen one yet, and there it was. It was just shooting along in the leaf litter so fast. And yes, this is Rhabdophis, so it is potentially venomous, but like most other members of the Rhabdophis genus, it basically never bites, and I'm not too worried about it, especially when it's in blue like this. It doesn't really have a clue what's going on. So check out this incredibly beautiful kingfisher. That thing is absolutely insane. You know, I'm a herper, not a birder, but that bird is ridiculous. Well guys, I just spent ages getting myself not a lifer, but a first for me. My first ever juvenile Gonyosoma oxycephalum, and the fourth of this species of the trip, a species which evaded us the entire year, despite all our field trips to the south and north where the species occurred. It evaded us, but oh wow. Okay, I've got it in hand now and you can truly see the size and elegance of this snake. Remember those big boy ones we got earlier on this trip? Well, just take a look at that. And moreover, take a look at that head. Those eyes, that elongatedness, but not too elongated to make it look goofy. That is freaking amazing. What an incredibly beautiful snake, and what a pleasure to see this. I honestly, I don't know why. I guess I hadn't seen one of these in so many years that I kind of forgot how beautiful they are. And this trip has really reminded me how incredible this snake is. Undoubtedly one of Thailand's most beautiful snakes, and slowly becoming one of my favorites to find in the wild. So gentle too. Oh, wow. Check out this absolutely monstrous gecko hulk. Hulk's giant green-eyed gecko, truly living up to its name here. I ain't catching this one because honestly, it would bite the crap out of me, and these have such sharp teeth. They're like longer than tokays, although a bit slender, but still these things are just as much of bulldogs and they will take a big bite out of you, so better left in situ. All right, finally the first cool frog find of the trip, and actually one I've never seen at this location before. Those who've been watching my channel for a while may recognize this as Wallace's flying frog. Rhacophoris nigropalmatus, one of the most impressive frogs in the region. Oh, sorry about that. Here, you can get a look at its size. This is actually a small one, and this is completely in situ. I spotted it actually hop around in this like swampy area, and it was really dark when I saw it, so I don't know what disturbed it. I looked around to see if a snake had been chasing it, but I couldn't find a sign of anything, so I don't know what made it stressed. I really don't, but it doesn't look particularly nice in that coloration. That's, whoa. Oh my God, look at it fly. Whoa, maybe that was a bad angle. Hold on, let me, oh, swampy here. There you can see where it gets the name Nigropalmatus, the black webbed feet there. Now, come on, whoa. Okay, let me try and properly show you it jump now. All right, here he is on my hand. Despite looking like they'd be really agile, these are actually super goofy, and they don't jump very far at all, as you saw. And they usually jump about 3 times before they come to a complete halt. So I've just got him on my hand now, and he will stay here until I touch him. He's pretty happy here, but he's showing his webbing so nicely. I'm so happy we got to see one of these on this trip. One of my favorite frogs in Thailand. I know it's super generic of me to say that, but as I've said before, I'm not a frog guy, so I do appreciate the flashier things more than the small and rare stuff. But still, first time ever seeing one of these at this location. Awesome. Well, this really has been a trip of firsts for me in terms of juvenile species. This here is my first ever juvenile Boiga trapezii, same as I got my first juvenile Gonyosoma and my first Apopeltra boa, the blunt-headed slug snake. And damn, this thing is beautiful. Oh, you're already gonna do that right when I say that you're beautiful? Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, that's full fangs in, that one there. Of course, you guys know these are rear fang species, capable of injecting venom, but I wouldn't even be the slightest bit concerned about one of this size. But some beautiful pinkish shades on the side. I hope those are showing up on the camera. I believe they are. And such vibrant orange. This is a really stunning snake. Beautiful tropical arboreal colubrid. Very happy to see this. I'm gonna grab some photos and then move on, and I'm probably gonna get bitten again in a second. Just doing that thing they do. Oh, and look at that. Just while I was standing here looking at this trapeze, I realized I disturbed quite a large earless agamid. So another reptile hanging out in this ultra biodiverse tropical rainforest. Let's go find some more stuff. Oh, I have found my friend. Hello, sir. Hello, good sir. Look at that, guys. The first long-nosed horn frog of the trip. Pelobatrachus or Megaphris nasuta to some. This absolutely iconic frog has got to be one of my all-time favorites in Thailand, and every trip I wish to see them. Sometimes, especially when there's been a lot of rain, find them as easier said than done. But at last, after 4 nights here, we got one at long last, and it is awesome. Even though it's just a small one, it's got such pronounced horns above its eyes and on its nose. And honestly, that is a wicked frog. How cool. Well, would you look at that? They were missing for days, and now I got this bright, like yellowish brown individual just after the last one. Honestly, it's crazy how it is, how the rain affects the activity of frogs in particular, man. Now I've got it in hand, you can see the insane yellows on this thing. Look at the contrast against my skin. This is by far the most beautiful Nasuta I have ever seen. Its horns aren't quite as long as the one we saw earlier, but in terms of color, this thing is just incredible. What a beautiful and amazing animal. I'm so happy to find this. All right, in the car, driving through some foggy weather and hoping that this new spot can turn up some more snakes. We've done good tonight. Let's keep it going. All right, I just road cruised the snake and it's our first sunbeam of the trip. Sunbeams have been a very regular sight down here in Naratia, or as I call it, the southern sunbeam. Southern sunbeam being this more rounded headed one with the pale head too and the typically more pronounced white on the side. And it's good to see it. Driving between our herping spots, just me on my own right now. Got a hold of this lovely solar snake, as we call it. That's how the Thai name translates, is solar snake. But yeah, what a crazy iridescent snake. Look at that, man. Absolutely incredible thing. People who come to the region are always stoked to see these. Of course, I say this a lot. It's a common species, so we get very blasé to it, but just look at that shine. Cool snake. All right, let's go. All right, David just found this super nice colored juvenile Homelopsis in the swamp, which is a species I've seen here before. My one had very, very yellow patterning. This one's still quite yellow compared to how they are elsewhere in their range, but not as yellow as that one. It is a little bit older though. And if you look at this one, it's got a bright orange venter, which is, in my opinion, quite unusual. Oh, it's speeding now. I'm not used to seeing these with such bright colored ventrals. I feel like they're usually more of like a creamish coloration, so that's interesting at least, but not really an interesting snake. Homelopsis baccata down here right by the Malaysian border, but let's take a look at that goofy head. Goofy is the scientific term I use for most snakes now, especially water snakes, but yep, let's let this one cruise back. All right, check this out, guys, and sorry about the dogs, but Pete and David caught, well, another first for my channel. This pretty damn big snake is the Malayan racer. Wow. Also known as Coelognathus flavolineatus, or by some the black copper rat snake or the yellow striped rat snake, and it is closely related, as you can tell by the genus, to Pihao, the copperhead rat snake. Although this one occurs primarily in rainforests and down here in the deep south. You can find it in agricultural land too. This one was found crossing a trail in the forest and is one of the largest ones I've ever seen actually of this species, which does get big. This is a very, very decently sized adult. It still has the yellow stripe on the dorsum, which is cool. In other parts of their range, they often lose that. And unfortunately, this one has not much time to cooperate with us. You can see it keeps turning around to try and bite me and does not want to sit still for a second. Look, 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 here we go again. It's so hard to film with snakes that are this big, but... Ow! Yeah, as I was saying before I got bit, snakes this size are so hard to film while alone, so I'm afraid this footage is all you're going to get, this kind of cruddy footage, but you got a good look at a fast, fiery and agile snake, which we've never shown on the channel before. Yet another of Thailand's many, many, many snake species. Black copper rat snake, Malayan racer, Coelognathus flavolineatus. All right, here's a male wagglers that David found. Unfortunately, we just cannot get hold of a female around here. To start with, wagglers are not common at all in this area. This is only the 4th we've ever seen here, but they've all been either juvenile females or adult males. Okay, we got it down for a closer look. We already saw a male wagglers this trip, but that was probably a couple videos ago now, so here it is in all its glory. Male wagglers don't really have the glitz or glamour of the females, but they're still a nice viper. Actually, strangely similar to HAGEN'S in the fact that they're green and have those twin spots along the dorsum. I heard some noise next to me. I thought it was ants about to raid me, but it was just David kind of creeping around. But yeah, another snake to add to the tally tonight, which is quickly racking up. David spotted this Cordilleniatus. First one I saw on the trip. We actually got one on the first night. David also found one there, but that one never got... Well, I didn't get to see it. Basically, they thought I wouldn't be interested and released it, which is okay, because I'm not particularly interested in these. The reason I got this one behind the back of the neck is because these have probably the sharpest teeth of any of the bronzeback species, and they do bite, and it hurts like hell. Okay, I got it to calm down a bit now, and we can look at it properly. It doesn't seem to be in its biting phase, so I'm happy to let go of the neck for the moment and get a look at what's quite a nice individual. Not the prettiest one I've ever seen, but it also has some nice oranges on the dorsum. Very nice striped color on this one. Anyway, we're very tired, and we're probably going to wrap up tonight's herping here because we've seen quite a few snakes, and that'll do, I guess.